Welcome back to DIY My Way. As you may recall in a previous video, I mentioned I was getting a new implement. Well, that implement arrived about 4 weeks ago, and it's just taken me this long to get ready to show it to you. Several of you have offered up guesses as to what it might be, and today you're going to find out what exactly I got. So what is it? It's a rear blade. I've been wanting a rear blade for quite some time, and I finally went ahead and bit the bullet and ordered it. And as I said, it was promised to be within about 12 weeks. It came in about 8. And here it is about 4 weeks later. I've been hiding it from you until now, so I could get around to shooting with it because I'm eager to use it. So in this video, I'm going to cover the reasons why I chose this rear blade from Everything Attachments. I'm going to cover the pros and any cons that I can come up with, and I'll take it for a test drive for the first time. First, I'll cover the specs of this scrape blade, also referred to as a rear blade, back blade, or grading blade. By the way, there's a link to the scrape blade in the video description. According to the website, the Everything Attachments 6-way Deluxe scrape blade is made from premium A572 grade 50 laser cut steel. It is rated for 25 to 50 horsepower tractors and up to 40 horsepower tractors with cab enclosures due to the extra weight. It's available in 5, 6, and 7 foot wide models. There are 7 forward and 7 reverse angle settings. And my favorite feature is the 24-inch offset capability with 7 positions. Also, the blade can be tilted to either side by 15 and 30 degrees. I'll demonstrate these angles shortly. It has a hardened bolt-on blade that can be flipped for a fresh cutting edge. There's a parking stand for easy hookup to your tractor. It is Category 1 quick hitch compatible. The rake is made in the U.S. in Conover, North Carolina, has a 1-year warranty, and shipping is free within 1,000 miles. But take note that they will only ship to a freight terminal or commercial business. I had mine shipped to a local business because I know the owner. The 5-foot model weighs 290 pounds and costs $1,006.58. The 6-foot model weighs 325 pounds and costs $1,035.25. And the 7-foot model weighs in at 342 pounds and costs $1,080.45. I bought the 6-foot model. When I picked up the scrape blade, I was pleased that it came wrapped in plastic and strapped to a pallet with steel straps. Overall, this thing looks beautiful. It's got a little bit of scuffage on the front there, kind of be expected, and at the edges where it's kind of hard to protect. Wish they had wrapped that in cardboard. They do have cardboard little spacers here on these straps, and they're supposed to, but they kind of missed, or they got out of place. So these are just sitting here. That might have happened during transport. I don't know, but anyway, so I've got a little bit of abrasion on the paint there where the straps go over, but the intent was good. But this thing looks gorgeous. I'm excited to try this thing out. Here's This thing is built like a tank. The 3-point frame is made from 1/2 inch steel bar. The offset angle plate is 3/8 inch thick, and the swing arm is made from 3/16 inch thick 3x5 rectangular steel tubing. There's also a balanced lift ring on the swing arm. The blade angle plate and tilt plate are 1/2 inch thick. The blade tilt post is made from 3/8 inch 5x2 rectangular steel tubing and is reinforced with 1/2 inch thick gussets on the corners. The mold board is supported by 3 by 1 1/4 inch C-channel and 3/8 inch thick connecting plates. This design keeps the mold board and blade straight and rigid. The blade assembly is attached to the tilt plate with what appears to be 3/8 inch thick steel plates. The mold board itself is 1/4 inch thick steel and 15 inches tall. Finally, it has a 1/2 inch hardened double-edged bolt-on blade. But one of the main reasons why I chose this back blade over others is that it is very nimble. just like the landscape rake I bought from Everything Attachments.
Now let me show you why I love this scrape blade. Of course you have the usual angle adjustments on the rake. There are 7 forward angle settings and 7 reverse angle settings to suit the job at hand. But the killer feature for me is the 7-position blade offset, which allows you to swing the blade out to one side or the other. Positioned like this, you can scrape material from the sides and pull it toward the middle. You can also combine these 2 angles for straight offset grading. The blade can also be tilted 15 and 30 degrees to either side, which combined with an offset could be used to create or clear out ditches. For more subtle tilts, I use my leveling box. Initially I noticed the offset pivot was too hard to swing, so I loosened the pivot bolt just a little bit. The nut on the bottom is a big nylock nut, so I don't have to worry about it vibrating off. Next I apply some grease to where the swing arm contacts the pivot plate and the offset angle plate. Unfortunately, some of the paint is already rubbed off of the offset angle plate.
Well, I think it's time we got this thing dirty, don't you? Now, I want you to know I have never used a rear blade before, so this is going to be my first, so please don't construe this as a how-to video. It is not. I'm going to need a little practice before I feel confident about showing you any techniques. But I'm going to learn, and you might get some entertainment out of it. Okay, for my first experiment with the rear blade, I'm going to see if I can smooth out this natural runoff channel that I'd made. Actually, it's not that natural. I had sculpted it out with the box blade some years ago, but it has had some erosion. So I'm just going to, as a first pass, try to see if I can smooth this out right along that sand line that you see there.
First, I set the angle of the blade to pull dirt from the bottom of the swale to the top. I don't set any tilt on it since the tractor will be driving along the existing slope, which is still fine. No offset is needed here either, but you'll see that put to use later in the video. Oops, I let the 3-point all the way down and it immediately dug in too deep. So I raised it up a bit to limit the digging depth in this very soft sandy soil. Another pass for good measure. I quickly learned to tweak the 3-point height as I go over uneven terrain to keep the blade depth as consistent as possible. That's looking a lot better.
Alright, here's a first look. This is not so much a judge of the blade. I'm sure the blade is great. This is more of a judgment on my first attempt of smoothing this out. And I did to a good degree, except I dug in a few times right along in here. Lesson 1 is that I have to keep my hand on the 3-point lift lever and basically manage it as I go. And I can feel with the resistance of the tractor about how much I need it to dig in. If it starts to pull too much, then I raise it up a little bit. If it starts to feel too slack, I let it down a little bit. And that, I think, with little practice, will seem to work.
Next, I try to grade out a high spot in the section of the trail so water can run off the trail. Here I have the blade set with no angle, no tilt, and no offset. I can tell I'm really going to like having this scrape blade. Here I'm scraping down the excess of crown due to erosion in a section of old logging road I have reclaimed as part of my trails. The blade is angled to scrape the dirt from the crown to the ruts on the side of the trail, and I have a modest tilt in the direction of the rut dialed in with my leveling box. Looks like it's working as planned. Starting at the top of the trail again, the blade is angled in the opposite direction for the other side of the trail, as is the tilt. It's working, but not as well as I'd like. So the next pass I add some offset to the blade. That did the trick. After the test drive, the only wear I see is the finish is worn on the edges of the blade, which is expected. So is the 6-way Deluxe scrape blade worth it? Let me put it into perspective for you, comparing some other scrape blades to the 5 most desirable features of the 6-foot Deluxe scrape blade costing $1,035.25. First, consider the County Line 6-foot grater blade from Tractor Supply at $499.99. It only has 5 forward and 5 reverse angles, no tilt angles, and no offset feature. It does not specify whether the cutting edge is hardened or reversible, just replaceable, but it is quick hitch compatible. The Titan Attachment 6-foot rear blade costs $899, has 7 forward but only 5 reverse angles, has no tilt angle position, but the blade does offset by sliding to one side or the other. It does have a hardened and reversible blade, and it is quick hitch compatible. It appears to be well made, so if you don't need the tilt angle, you can save $135. But for the difference, I would rather go with the American-made Everything Attachments blade and get the tilt option. Finally, Land Pride's RB2672 6-foot rear blade costs $1,135. It has 7 forward and only 3 reverse angles. It has 5 tilt angle positions, but it has a bolt-on offset of only 12 inches to either side. This means you literally have to unbolt the moldboard and the blade assembly, shift it to one side and bolt it back on, which is a terrible design in my opinion. It's not an easy thing to do in the field and might take 2 people, so you might as well not have the offset at all. It does have a hardened and reversible blade, and it is quick hitch compatible. So for me and my needs, the Everything Attachment scrape blade seemed like a great value. Here are the pros and cons of this rear blade as I see them. As for the pros, it is extremely rugged in design and great build quality. It has very versatile positioning options, especially the offset feature, which is a must-have for me. And Everything Attachments is a great company to deal with. They clearly take pride in making quality products and serving their customers. As for the cons, the only 2 I can think of is that the rear blade is a significant investment, and the paint seems to scrape off easier than I'd like, but at least it's scraping off where I would expect it to.
Now, if you happen to notice that my rear blade is Kubota orange instead of the standard yellow of most Everything Attachment implements, that's because Travis offered to paint it for me in orange when I mentioned that I bought their landscape rake under their Landshark brand, which comes in orange. I really wish that I could get the rear blade in orange, which they don't sell under the Landshark brand. And he offered to paint it orange for me at no extra charge, which I really appreciate. So Travis, thank you very much. One thing I want to make clear is that I paid full price for this rear blade. I got no discounts or any other considerations other than maybe the fact that they painted it orange for me, because they did know that I had done a review on their rake, which they like and featured on their website, and they knew I was going to do a review on this blade. So getting my rear blade in orange may be the only perk I got out of doing this video. But I don't know that, so it doesn't hurt to ask if you want yours in another color other than yellow.
Oh, and if you're wondering if I made a dolly for it, of course I did. Like many of my other implements, the rear blade has its own custom dolly, allowing me to easily move it around. I'll keep it under the shed in the back with the rake, box blade, and brush hog.
So if you've been considering getting a rear blade, then I hope you found this video helpful in making your decision and in considering an everything attachments rear blade. And if you did find it helpful, please take a moment to click that like button, leave a comment, and by all means, please subscribe. And if you want to know when I post new videos, then click that little bell. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.